So we are fully underway in the Maresco era, and as the transfer window will be opening this Friday, there are so many stories that need to conclude within Chelsea's transfer business. Long sagas like the Conor dilemma or the Osimhen chase will be wrapped up hopefully in August. Let's go through all the stories and preview what may, could and should happen. Enzo Maresca apparently wants a progressive goalkeeper that acts like a defender. Practically, he wants 5 at the back, one that comes out. But at the end of the day, a goalkeeper's role is to protect the net, and coming out may be dangerous, but apparently, even though we're searching for other goalkeepers, it seems that he might want to stick with Sanchez, who shows positioning issues. Just look at that goal that Disasi scored, that spectacular own goal that Disasi scored. If you see Sanchez's positioning, it's going to be pretty worrying if Enzo is going to try to keep, stay with him. And another person that's coming back is Kepa. Kepa has been problematic since he came, one of the most expensive goalkeepers of all time. But he knows that he's coming back to a Chelsea that doesn't want him. He left Real Madrid, who could not keep him. And so apparently he's going to have a discussion with Enzo, and we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully we can find someone to sell him, but clearly he's going to be at a loss once he's sold. When we move to the defenders, Chelsea is pretty busy already. After acquiring Tosin Adarabioyo, this would mean that the offloading of Chalobah is in full force. Even though Tosin is good, even though he's tall, even though he has Premier League history, it just seems backwards to replace Chalobah with this guy. Chalobah is a Cobham graduate. He's a Chelsea guy through and through. He's been through the ups and downs, and he can actually be a leader. And he was actually doing well with Thiago Silva. Getting rid of him just for pure profit seems backwards, and especially if you're going to sell him for about 30 million, that is just... Anyways, if he stayed, he would have stayed beside Levi Colwill, who surprisingly has got some interest from Bayern Munich. This was worrying because pure profit. However, shortly after that, we got news that Chelsea is dedicated to keeping him, as they see him as part of the future of Chelsea, which is good. Someone who I actually would have liked to actually be part of the future of Chelsea is Ian Maatsen, who sadly is most likely going to end up at Dortmund. However, Dortmund is actually trying to lowball Chelsea with an offer. They knew the release clause, but they're trying to cheat Chelsea. Doesn't make sense. If you don't have the money, pay it up because he's good. Anyways, we're going to see him at the Euros. Someone we are not going to see at the Euros is Malang Sarr. This guy has just been collecting money and doing whatever he's been doing. He was almost sold last summer, but was it last December? Yeah, in December he was almost sold, but nothing happened. It's a pretty distasteful what he did when Pochettino was fired, as he had I think he had a thumbs up or a smiley emoji, whatever the case is. Hopefully he can find another place to go and play, because he is doing nothing right now. Someone who is coming into Chelsea apparently is Pedro Lima from Brazil, a young guy who Chelsea is trying to incorporate into the multi-club model. So apparently he's going to be bought and he's going to be taken straight to Strasbourg, where he'll develop under Patrick Vieira or whoever is there, and then eventually, as he blossoms into the player we want him to, he will move over to Chelsea. And that's it for the defenders, I believe. In the midfield is the less busiest place, but apparently Lazio is looking to sign Casadei. Casadei came back from his loan from Leicester in January, but he was rarely used. So I don't know who brought him back, why they brought him back, for what reason, but hopefully he can stay. He has a history with Enzo Maresca, so hopefully he can be utilized better and we can actually see more of him and understand him as a player. But I know one person who does not fit in the Chelsea midfield anymore, and that's Hakim Ziyech, who will be coming back from Galatasaray. He's going to be 31, and he still is a very good player. He just never settled in Chelsea, so hopefully somebody can take him from us and he can actually continue to thrive wherever he goes. And the biggest part of the midfield is the Conor Gallagher saga. I mean, this is one of the Chelsea boys again, going to be sold for pure profit. He's going to be forced out at this stage, but apparently Spurs and Villa are the two English clubs interested in him. Villa is the better place for him to go if he has to go, because Villa is looking to build on the last season and stay in the top 4 and always be in the Champions League. And so someone like Conor Gallagher, who's actually an England player, is someone that is coveted, and at 50 million, that's not bad, but I believe he could actually go a little bit more. Another club that's interested in him that Chelsea are actually entertaining is Spurs. Why in the world would you sell someone who doesn't want to leave, someone who is Chelsea bred, someone who loves Chelsea, to the arch enemy? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Somebody explain how that makes sense, but apparently Spurs may want him, and if he goes to Spurs, it would just be very distasteful. The attack is the most unstable department so far. I mean, there's just too much happening. The first and the weirdest one is apparently there's interest in Nkunku from other clubs, but we heard that the player is committed to Chelsea. It's strange that someone is trying to actually take him right now, but there's no harm in actually trying. So this is another weird story. The Victor Osimhen chase apparently is dying down. Initially, of course, we wanted him, but of course he was too expensive. If someone's clause is 120 mil, of course their salary is going to be high. And if we don't have Sterling to get rid of to Saudi Arabia or Fenerbahce, our books are pretty much stacked. And we were hoping to actually exchange Romelu Lukaku with him and pay less, because Napoli really want Lukaku and they were trying to lowball us, actually trying to pay less than half of the release clause. Like, that is weird. Like, how in the world would you be selling a house for $200,000 and someone's going to come and say, hey, I'm going to give you $60,000, take it or leave it? That's just dumb. If you don't have the money, don't come and embarrass yourself, seriously. But anyways, Victor Osimhen apparently right now, according to Chelsea, it does not fit the style that we want to go with. You should have just said he's too expensive. Don't waste your time. I mean, he works in the Enzo Maresca system. He works perfectly, because even though he can play as a striker, he would work. He can also fall deep. He is actually a very hard-working player, and he was someone that would actually help Chelsea. But again, because we couldn't get him, we tried to go for Sesko, but Sesko decided to stay in RB Leipzig. So Man United, Chelsea or Arsenal, we can't fight for him anymore. And so he's going to stay there. And so now that we couldn't get Osimhen and we couldn't get Sesko, we have now turned again to John Duran. I don't know why Chelsea is going after a second choice striker to compete with Jackson. You need someone better than him. And hopefully that better person would be Julian Alvarez, who we're trying to get. Julian Alvarez follows the Man City era attitude thing, and Chelsea last season was trying to follow Brighton, but it looks like this season we're trying to follow Man City in everything that they do. I mean, we're doing the multi-club thing. We hired Diet Pep. We got Tosin Adarabioyo, who has a history at Man City. So hopefully Julian Alvarez for 70 million would come and fit right into the Chelsea model. Even though he prefers to play as a striker, I think he would actually work falling deep and helping out. But if we're not able to have him, we still have Nkunku. One other player though who would not be able to fit it is one that we're gonna get rid of soon, which is Armando Broja. It just sucks that he had so much potential, but his injury messed him up. However, we could still make a profit off him, because apparently Everton is looking to spend 30 million on him. Even though this news may be fake, even though it may be real, it would be shocking for someone to spend $30 million on him. Sorry, 30 million pounds. I live on the American side, so everything I say would be dollars anyways. And then the main story, Olise. Apparently Olise is further along in his contract talks with Chelsea, even though Man United are also trying to take him. But right now Man United is a mess. I mean look at what they're doing. They cannot make up their mind on if they're going to get rid of Erik ten Hag or not. And so while they struggle, it's a blessing for us, and hopefully we can put pen to paper, because him and Noni Madueke on the right side would be so deadly. And apparently another winger that Chelsea was looking at was Somerville, but it looks like he would just come in and just warm the bench the whole time, because there'll be too many people in front of him, just way too many people in front of him. The last thing I want to talk about is the stacking of the attacking in Chelsea. It looks like we may be falling into that issue that we had with Graham Potter, where we had too many players. I mean, we have Estevao coming next year, we have Kendrick Pyers coming, we have Noni right now, Palmer right now, Sterling right now, Mudryk right now, and then if we get Olise and Somerville, that is a stacked wing. Like, somebody is not going to benefit from this, and I don't think we need to stack that much. We have a lot of good players. At least just have one main person and a deputy, and then maybe a third string for a position where you think issues may come. But That's Chelsea. Get ready, get your popcorn, read stuff. Hopefully this transfer season is going to be entertaining. Hopefully it's going to be a success, but it also has the chance of being a disastrous one. But anyways, I believe next season is going to be an awesome season. Anyways, what do you think?
As we don't have the capacity